Would you like to take photos like this one? Hi, I'm Sam, and if you stay until the end of the video, I'll tell you exactly how you can take a photo like this. Before we get into the details of how to take specific photos like this one, let's go a little bit through my history of getting into photography. So back when I graduated from college, I got my first smartphone, and I started taking photos whenever I traveled. You see, I got photos like this. And after a few years, I bought the Sony RX100, a small camera, pocket-sized camera that looks like this. I got more photos like this one and this one, but they were not clearly anywhere near what's possible with a professional level camera. So we come to 2020, and my job went fully remote, and I was looking for ways to get out of my house to do things, and so photography became a good way to accomplish that. This photo here that I took at a local park captures the mood maybe of that time, and I continued to take photos of many different things: my car, cake, coffee beans, tea, flowers, birds, bugs, architecture in Chicago, the University of Illinois, my alma mater, some more architecture, and Siebel Center, where I got my degree in computer science, stadium, fireworks, my cat, and a very large chair. But none of that is astrophotography, as you may have noticed. So in the middle of 2020, there was a comet, Neowise, and this began showing up in my Instagram feed, and I was like, maybe I can go out and capture some images of this comet. So I tried on several occasions, and I found out that I did not know how to properly use my gear. And so, while my results here are not super great, you may not be able to too much, but the stars are very much trailing in this image. The composition is pretty good, but I didn't have the right equipment to capture the best images or have the right knowledge and experience in editing to produce really great results. But it led me down the path of learning. So I continued to buy new equipment and try new things. So some things did not go well. One thing was having the right equipment. This lens did not work at all. The stars are like really, really horribly. I don't even know what is wrong with these, but they're just not very good. And this lens was a complete failure when it came to astrophotography. And this result is a little bit better. You can see some details in the Milky Way here, but it's underexposed and not properly edited. There's a satellite going through it, so still there was improvements that I needed to work through. So this shot here clearly was not planned very well. The moon is right next to the Milky Way, and there is power lines going through it, and the foreground is moving. Not great. This is better. The Milky Way is very clear. There's no moon, but there's clearly power lines, and the corn in the foreground is clearly moving because my tracker is moving, and just should have taken a second shot for the foreground. Then we come to finally what I would consider a decent image of just the Milky Way, a single exposure with a foreground. You can see that a lot of things went well. The stars are in focus, they're not trailing. The foreground is clear. The composition makes sense. But there's still problems with the Milky Way not going to the edge of the foreground. There's a good amount of light pollution in here. So like it's a good image, but it could be better. So I tried stacking images like this. And this clearly did not work at all. So clearly I went through a few more experiments and finally ended up successfully stacking an image like this one here. Again, the editing here is not great, and there's a lot of problems with this image, but I was very excited to capture it and show people, and you can even see the Andromeda Galaxy on the bottom in the middle there. as I continued to improve, I started being able to capture Milky Way tracked images like this. And after I was able to accomplish this, then I started to create foreground and sky compositions like you see here. This was my first successful one taken somewhere in North Carolina. Come fast forward to this year. After practicing for a few years, my skills improved, and I was able to produce a lot of great images, a couple of which are this one, and then finally coming basically full circle, I have another comet image, the Tushushin Atlas comet that appeared this summer. This is a pretty nice composition with the Milky Way, and it has a nice foreground, and all the details here are a lot better than what I was ever able to capture with the Comet Neowise. So let me walk through an example of how I would capture a night sky photo. So first of all, you need equipment. So you have to have a straight tripod like this one here, and then a star tracker that will rotate to counter the Earth's rotation. And then you need a camera. These are the main components. So once you have this equipment, then you need to know how to use it. So in order to take a good photo with this tracker, you need to be able to align it. So you can, in the Northern Hemisphere, you can align the polar scope here with Polaris. In the Southern Hemisphere, there is a little bit trickier. You can align with some constellation called octans. And how you would do that is you would basically take off the camera here. And once you've done that, you would point this to the north and align it as close as you can with Polaris, and then you would look through the polar scope, something like this, and then when you can see the polar clock in there, you look at the polar time. There's many apps for that, and then once you've got that aligned, you can turn on your star tracker here, and then add back your camera, and then you can find your composition with the Milky Way. So Milky Way would probably be somewhere in the southeast, maybe like this, and then you can capture your long exposures of the sky. So that's how you would capture the sky part. In order to capture a foreground, you would turn off your star tracker, change your alignment to maybe point towards the foreground, and then you can capture a long exposure of the foreground until you are happy with the lighting in it. So it might take some trial and error for both getting the sky exposures and the foreground exposures right. And once you make it home from capturing your photo, you would want to edit that in Photoshop and Lightroom. We won't go into the details here, but in the community we'll have sessions on exactly how you would do that sort of thing. So I don't know you or your specific situation, what you might be struggling with astrophotography, whether it's getting their equipment or setting it up, or getting to the right locations where there is no light pollution. You can actually see the full Milky Way, whether it's the capturing process and you're not able to capture exactly what you're looking for, or even with the post-processing editing of your images. But I can definitely guarantee you that if you join the community, that you will get help in all of these areas.